Okay, we had a technical glitch. That's why the program got delayed. So I'm also taking as little time as possible to do my duty of welcoming all of you. Today, the speaker of the day is Professor Dr. Namita Rajput, Professor, Department of Commerce, Aurobindo College, University of Delhi. In fact, it was in one of such webinars that I happened to listen to her talk, and I asked her whether she will be interested in giving a lecture in the St. Chavara Center lecture series. As all of you know, this lecture series is a series of lectures that are being organized by St. Chavara Center for Teaching Excellence and Educational Innovation of St. Aloysius College for the benefit of young faculty members. Many of the young faculty members, as you know, do not get an opportunity to get trained in HRDCs. So through this monthly event of events, we try to bring in some good input, useful input for the young faculty members. It will also be useful for experienced faculty members in the form of sharing information. So I would like to extend a very warm welcome to Professor Dr. Namita Rajput to this program. Hearty welcome, ma'am. Then she will be introduced formally later, so I'm not venturing to that. I also welcome all the participants from different parts of the country who have joined this program. We have even participants from outside the country. This program is also being telecast live on YouTube, so there are people watching. So I welcome all the participants from a different part of the country who are attending this faculty development program. I also welcome all the faculty members of our college, other staff members of our college, especially Dr. Sindo Jacob, coordinator of the center, and Dr. Libson KB, our IQAC coordinator to this program. Without taking much time, I conclude by welcoming you all once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Chakuza. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Narayanan P.A., Assistant Professor, St. Aloysius College, Elthuruth, to formally introduce the speaker. Narayanan, sir, over to you.
Thank you, Sandeep, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Respected Principal, St. Aloysius College, Elthuruth, Dr. Chakuza, respected Professor, Dr. Namita Rajput, speaker for today's session, respected faculties and attendees of this national webinar, and my dear colleagues, and a warm good evening to all. The task before me is not an easy one. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is impossible to list all the achievements of Professor Rajput within an hour or two. So I have tried my best to shorten and present it within a few minutes. I beg your pardon for any significant omissions. Professor Namita, Dr. Namita Rajput is a well-known teacher, an active and accomplished researcher and speaker, and a committed social welfare worker. She has served as the principal of Aurobindo College, University of Delhi, for 3 years. Before that, she was Associate Professor, Department of Commerce of the same college. Her MPhil and PhD was in international business from Delhi School of Economics. She has also served as a postdoctoral fellow in the Department of Financial Studies, South Campus, University of Delhi. Professor Rajput has over 200 publications. He has been invited as delegate, participant, and presenter of papers in over 150 national and international seminars. Professor books to her credit. This is apart from several book chapters we have contributed to several reputed international publishers. She also has 3 copyright to her credit. They are the the Bhag theory of leadership, the 3 E's of motivation, 3L theory of work culture. Professor Namita Rajput is also a frequent contributor to various UGC projects. She's also active in social work through her NGO UNHAD. She's a recipient of several awards and honors, including, just to name a few, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan Lifetime Achievement Award, Women Excellence 2018, that was in 2018, Women Excellence Award in Education, that too in 2018, by Women Achievement Excellence Award in Education in 2017 by YMCA, IRSD Outstanding Researcher Award in 2017, Best Women Iconic Award 2018 by Earth Saviors Foundation, Mahatma Gandhi Ekta Saman 2013 by ILF5, Paul Harris Fellow by Rotary International, Best Citizen of India Award 2012 by IPH, Indira Gandhi Shiromani Award 2011, Professor M.B. Shah Memorial Research Award 2014 by ACA, and she's also a recipient of several other honors. With that very short sample of her achievements, I'm stopping. Back to you, Sandeep sir.
Thank you, Narayanan sir. So now, Dr. Namita ma'am, now we are all yours. Now we can start the session. Once again, ma'am, 1 second. Once ma'am completes the session, the audience can directly clear your doubts. There is a time slot for that. So ma'am, over to you.
So first of all, my greetings and salutations to the organizers and the participants who have joined this particular session. So I will be talking mainly on innovative teaching pedagogies and also about the assessment and also about the assessment techniques, especially in the context of the new education policy which has been implemented in 2020. So basically, there is a huge difference in terms of the way we used to teach earlier and the way we used to teach now. So there has to be an innovation, there has to be a particular the way in which we have to transform our teaching, and also about the way we have to assess the students. So let me just present my presentation here. Okay. So this is all about innovative teachings, assessment pedagogies, NEP 2020. So basically, just 1 minute. Okay. I will not be presenting this, but I hope the screen is visible because there's a music which is coming. So I don't know how to control that. So we will be discussing about some traditional teaching pedagogies, which included the projected and non-projected AV8s. So a teacher used to go in the class and we had a chalk and board system. We used to have the flashcards, which were really costly at that time. There were, different kind of posters, maps, models. So everything was like more of manual in nature. And having the digital pedagogies was a dream. And very few institutions, whether they were schools or the colleges or the higher education institutes, they used to have the projectors and the slide shows and the television. So it was not that, an easy journey for the teachers to move on with the education. But yes, at that time also we had intellectuals, we had experiments, we had innovations. And if you talk about now, once the technology has taken over, the innovations have come in teaching also, which I would like to highlight, and what actually a teacher now should play a role as a facilitator, right? So the teachers must use some innovative and useful techniques, maybe which are technology driven, but some do not require any technology at all. So that comes with your intellectual capabilities, that how important and how easily you are able to disseminate your knowledge to the participants, mainly using the latest tools and the trends. Because if you do not use the latest methods for that matter, these students nowadays, they are having a different mindset. So I remember when I was a student and there were no phones, we used to slog so much in the libraries from 8 to 8. We used to sit in the libraries and talk about to our peers and friends that how we are going to move forward with this. There was a photocopy shop which was flooded with students, and getting a photocopy and the image of the book was a difficult task. So I remember we used to have a long sitting in the libraries, putting down the main notes, and this is how we actually had our journey, which was not an easy journey. But now the students are born with a silver spoon in their hands, with the environment of Chat GPT, with the environment of Ask AI. There are some important tools which have actually made the work easier for the students to make the presentations. I saw yesterday there was an AI tool. Just upload the PDF and important prompts. It will ask that what kind of a PPT you want, whether it is a formal PPT or an official PPT or in the report format. So it is in just a click of a button, all the presentation was made. So I would not say that we should not be using them. But as a matter of fact, when you talk about the new teaching pedagogies, the new teaching pedagogies should be taken as an enabler. They should not be taken as a master, because otherwise, if you, I'm teaching in University of Delhi for past 3 decades now, almost 32 years. So the difference, what I found in the students of yesteryears and the students of today, so they are actually using more of technology, because we don't have any imperative for that matter. We are using the technology, and we have to use the technology because we cannot move away with that. And the trend should be your friend. So, but the kind of contemplation, the kind of the knowledge, the kind of creativity the younger students had, I think it is eroding day by day. So I'm not criticizing as such the technology part of the education which is now being used, but the way it is being used. Like, just in no time, the question which is given in the class, they put to the artificial AI person, and it answers comes in seconds. In the blink of an eye, the answer is in front of you. Do you think it is going to make the students the thinkers or the creators? They are just moving with the technology. They are just moving with a click of a button. So I think we should restrict wherever there is a want of a creativity. So we should shuffle the technology enabled tools in the class, so that we are able to make the personality of the students, a 360-degree personality of the students, in terms of giving them some low order thinking skills to some high order thinking skills. So, as a teacher, we understand that there is an importance of technology. Number one. Number two, there are so many new methods and the technologies which are present in this contemporary world. This is number two. Number three is that these students are having the different capabilities, and we should respect the capabilities. Some are good with the, the analytical skills. Some people are good with the presentation skills. Some people have good communication skills. Some people have a critical mindset, whereas other people are critiques. So as a matter of fact, when you enter the class, you should have a catch of all the students who you're teaching, and be their enabler, be their facilitator, be their leader in terms of giving them the knowledge. So there are definitely different types of techniques we should adopt. And I mean, at any cost, we should not be moving on with the old pedagogies. We should always innovate. we should do the experimentation. And the good teachers actually learn from their mistakes, and they should build the success of the students, especially with these pedagogies. So there are three things which I will be talking about: the input, the process, and the output which is being involved. So it is the pupil teacher and in-service teachers can have, have its advantage. So we can be instrumental as far as the teaching, new innovative teaching pedagogies are concerned, in building the cognitive domain of the students, their affective domains, that is their attitude and behavior, and about upskilling them in the different domains, right? So there is, I will be talking on three aspects. Again, one is the theory application, that whatever we are teaching, there is a base theory, followed by there are some technological knowledge we should have, right? So unless and until we are familiar with the technology, like because of the technology that we are all connected, you all are in Kerala, I am in Delhi, and the participants are from Pan India. So this is possible because we have a knowledge of the technology and we are connected just on a particular link. And about the content you are speaking, the pedagogies, what you're using, and the pedagogical content, the technological content. So all these things have to be seen in one frame to make your teaching a success. So we'll be talking about a few more points here. The teachers must respect the fact that each of their students, they have their own learning abilities, right? They learn in their own unique ways. So some people are very quick. Before the teacher even comes out with the concept, they already know, because they are proactive in finding out what is going to be the next, because now we are into a flipped classroom scenario in which all the material, all the useful links are uploaded even a week before the teacher takes it into the class actually. So we are in this kind of a flipped classroom atmosphere where the videos, useful links, the PowerPoint presentations, the PDFs are already uploaded. So the proactive students are such, they already into it and they download them, they have a catch of it, they are more into a discussion form so that their concepts are more clear. So there is a unique difference between the different types of students we have in the class. There's a huge kind of a diversity what we see. One is a diversity of a male and a female. There's a diversity of the different culture. So the Indian students who are studying abroad, they have their own mindsets because their upbringing was in a very different way. And the people who are born and brought up there, they have already adopted right from their childhood the different pedagogies they are into. So I was just talking to one of my cousins. She's staying in Dubai for almost like 20 years. So she asked me that how much homework your teachers give as far as the students' summer vacation are concerned. So I said we have a particular PDFs and subject-wise they are given, and the assessment is also done on the basis of that. I mean, this is what we have been observing from years together. But she said in our country, wherever we go out for any kind of an outing, be it inbound or outbound the country or within the country, some excursion trip. So the students have to make an album out of it. The importance of the importance of that particular place, the few pictures, etc. So all these things, she said, this is a kind of a homework what they're getting. So the children have to make an album, followed by they have to make some voiceovers, they have to collect the pictures, they have to do the research about that particular place, what is the peculiarity of that place. So she said that out of that particular homework, what the foreign countries they give to their students is more of a creative work. I mean, I find a huge gap between the Indian educational institutes, whether it is a school or a college, and the universities in the outside world. So there's a huge difference, although we are trying to bridge the gap, and this particular initiative of Government of India of announcing this NEP 2020 is a leap step in this direction, and probably we are on to a Bloom's taxonomy implementation part, learning outcomes, course outcomes, chapter outcomes, module outcomes. So all these things now are more in practice, and we are, moving on to from a rote learning. saying no to the rote learning and moving on to the analysis, evaluation, and the creativity part of the Bloom's taxonomy. So, what differences I see in the classroom of today, that teachers, they make use of the interactive board, which is there in the class, not the normal chalk, and although they have a small portion of the board, a part of it is an smart board and a part of it is a chalk, and the old, the boards which we used to have in the class. So what I feel is that the teacher should learn all these new methods of teaching as well as assessment, because you cannot have a dissection of that this is the teaching and this is the assessment. The way we teach, the way we have to assess. So there's a very close linkage between the teaching as well as the assessment. So, more showing off more visuals, like you give a picture to the students, you ask that students to analyze that picture. Like, for example, a lady is sitting in the picture, and there is more of white space, and the other picture is like more of black space, and a female is sitting right in a very small part in the white. So we ask these students to give their comments and analyze the picture of these two. So these narratives, these pictures, they actually, the chat GPT cannot answer that. So this is one thing. So you have to be very smartly working with the kind of students you are teaching in terms of what and how you can improve them, how you can ask them to become creators, how you can ask them to have a discussion, how there can be a brain churning in their mind, how analytical skills you can build. How brainstorming sessions can really help them. So, what I feel is that there should be more of experiential learning and hands-on learning in the classroom, because students really enjoy. So, why I'm sharing my experiences, because this is what the differences I have noted, and as a matter of fact, all the teachers are there. So you can, we can learn from each other's experience, that how we can frame our classroom pedagogies to make the learning experience more delightful, more joyful for our students, right? So the success of each student depends upon how the instructional plans are built to accommodate a wide range of the learning abilities of the different kinds of students. We cannot have plan A for everyone, or plan B for everyone, or plan C for everyone. We can have a shuffling of, say, A and B together, B and C together, or probably some other combinations, and shuffle the pedagogies which are available in the present context, and make their experience more joyful and more hands-on, right? So there is a teaching process, teaching learning process, what I'm talking about. Most of us think that about the students in a classroom. We think about the teacher going in front of the classroom and the students are sitting, they are making notes and they are raising their hands to ask the question. This is what normally we talk about as a teaching learning process. But now it is no more into that kind of a setup what I'm talking about. It is more of questioning, it is making more use of the visual aids, making more use of the cooperative learning groups. And I will be talking about these pedagogies one by one, so that whatever I have collated and contemplated this particular presentation, and I request the organizers to share it with all the participants, so that they can also see my collection of the different pedagogies, and they can really add on, and we can be helping each other in terms of how the understanding of the students can be built. So the first innovation in the teaching pedagogy, although it is years old, right? The teacher used to come in the class, used to give the concepts, and used to ask the students, take a feedback. So coming into the class, narrating the concept and taking a feedback is a very year-old concept, right? And a year-old pedagogy. But if you talk about now, if you talk about the new now, it is about teaching for understanding, which is new. Teaching not for the rote learning. This is what the difference is. So this approach talks about, when you talk about the teaching for the understanding, is that you have to break the concept into different small parts and make those smaller parts easier for all the students to understand, give them the small pieces by and by so that they are able to understand the small bits of it. Like there is a sentence of say about 100 words together in one, because it's a complex sentence. So what a teacher can do is, the teacher can break the sentence into small parts, make the students understand. So this is what is called as teaching for understanding. That is the breaking of the whole concept into small parts and providing an opportunity to the students, and take a very small and a very frequent feedback. Are you able to follow that? Are you facing any issue? Please raise your hand, stop the teacher there and then, and please clear your doubts. So this is the first one, that is teaching for understanding, breaking the concept into small different parts. The second most important innovative technique is a hands-on learning. This is perhaps, it is the most important innovative teaching pedagogies what I will be talking about today. And this is perhaps one of the best ways to learn through a hands-on learning experience. So basically what the students are doing, they are physically interacting with each other. They are able to retain that information because they are doing it themselves, right? So what and how the teachers should do to make a hands-on learning experience a better learning experience for the students. Number one is, have the students create a timeline of the event. You see, we have a academic year, we have the semester, we have the trimesters, we have the weekly assignments, we have the daily assignments. Everything is time bound. So all the teachers should understand this very, very carefully. Whatever you want the students to understand, please put it in a time frame. Unless and until it is in time frame, you cannot have an unending, learning experience or teaching experience for that matter. So you have to create a timeline of events that by tomorrow, everyone has to give the topic. By day after tomorrow, you have to find 5 important resources which you will be using for your bibliometric analysis or your annotated analysis or whatever, right? So you have to design a project so that they are more engaged into it, and ask them to write about what they have learned. So making of the flashcards, ask them to make the flashcard, ask them to design a particular game, that is the management game, out of what they have learned. So you ask them to teach their peers, right? If I am one of the students of an MBA class, I have few friends in my classroom. So I have been designated the responsibility that I have to teach Mr. A and Mr. B. So this is a proven empirical study that if you start giving the concepts to your friends or whatever, if you start teaching to what you have learned, the concepts will be more in your mind. The retention of the concepts is more clear, and you'll be able to retain the concepts for a longer and a sustained period of time. So teaching each other is a very beautiful exercise. Try it out. It is going to be very, very good. So number one, the student will have a communication skills. He will be better in that. He'll be able to give the concept to the other person. So his concepts will also be more clear, and he'll be able to find out the doubts if he has any. So using of the different PowerPoint presentations, having a research from the internet and all that. So it is going to, better his research skills also, his analytical skills also, his communication skills also. And also the concepts will be retained for a longer period of time. And these learning styles you have to implement in each classroom. So this hands-on experience is definitely one thing I will recommend to all the teachers who are present here. And of course, if you do this, this is going to be a very beautiful exercise, and the students will be also more happy working here. So now I'm coming on to another innovative teaching pedagogies. Although they were there in the yesteryears also, but the nomenclature have changed, the way has changed, and everything is a technology enabled and technology driven concepts, right? So technology is at the center of the all the new teaching pedagogies what I will be talking about today. So see, once you divide the students into groups, so there will be a collaborative learning. There will be a cooperation among each other. So they will be dividing the work. So there will be a division of work, that this part you have to do, this part she has to do. So the people who are into that group will learn so many other skills also. So this is in a playway method that they will be able to, do everything in a very collaborative way. So the ideas, what I feel is that once we give the projects to the students, so they make their own WhatsApp groups, they call the Zoom meetings, they discuss that this is how the teacher has instructed us to make the presentation. So the level of concentration moves up, the level of the brain teasers are there. So, the students are moving on the path of more of creativity and the artwork, imagination, low order things to high order things. So, they will also develop an open mindset, because there are some black sheeps in the group also. So they will be able to identify that who's working for the project, who's not working for the projects, and probably you can pinpoint that the productivity of this particular child is not there. So you can report these things to your teacher also, that although there is a group cohesiveness and nobody wants to be a black sheep in terms of giving the secrets of the group, but it is important on the other side also. Like if you start giving about the knowledge about that this is the person who has not contributed at all, so teacher will actually work on the concepts, like why this student is not working well. So there is one more thing which I want to tell you here about the students working in the group. You should have two types of groups. One activity to be given in a small group and the other activity to be given in a larger group. Both the teams, like if you're working in small teams and if you're working in big teams, has its own advantages as well as disadvantages. More people will have more diverse opinions, so diversity makes sense always. So they will be having more friends, you will be having more diverse opinions, and moving on to a consensus will be difficult. Although if you talk about the consensus building in a small group, again, it depends upon how affirmative the people are in that group. So student activities in the groups, they make a huge difference, and it is definitely very important and an innovative aspect. Next is we have a blended learning, that is the using of both face-to-face interactions and also using the experience of the online. So it's a combination which is a new now. And when we talk about the blended learning, it is an educational approach that uses both offline as well as the online materials. That is, attending lectures in person is one option, but students also have the option of using the online resources like videos, podcasts, quizzes, etc. So they can enjoy both a face-to-face interaction of the teacher or as well as using the online resources. So this is what is called as a blended teaching. Next is we have a project-based learning. This is, to my knowledge, is also very, very important, innovative things. And the new education system has in the value addition courses, in ability enhancement courses, in the different curriculum aspects, they have also given due weightage of the project-based learning. So the student learns the real world problem, and I will be talking about the problem solving skills also in detail today only. So this project-based learning, number one, helps you in enhancing your research skills. You have to gather the real-time data. You have to start collecting the information about that particular project. So you will have a problem-solving skills, critical thinking, and also it teaches the student how to work collaboratively because you are given the projects in the group. So this is also one of the prime innovative methods, which is the most popular method nowadays. So now coming on to the importance of the technology. So you can see by the Elvin Toffler, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So technology is all about, this only, that we have to unlearn certain things. We have to keep our resilience aside, and we have to be flexible enough to have the method of the new now, that is the use of the technology, etc. So technology is actually an opportunity for the teachers to differentiate the instructions, to modify the information for the appropriate learning capabilities of the students. So this use of technology can also allow the students to work at their own pace, right? This is number one. And of course, advances in the technology have a profound effect on the way we learn and the way we teach. So earlier it wasn't there at all. So now we use more of computers, MacBooks, laptops, and you know, we store our information, we send the information, because every now and then we have to prepare some letters, some reports, etc. So all these instruments, they are the main characters of the technology. And many adult learners can remember now those old days that we used to go to the staff room and find the books. There were no digital catalog, so you know, finding the paper-based books and journals was definitely a very, very difficult task. So since we have some learned senior faculty here also, so just this slide is particularly for you. You can just be nostalgic about the way we used to, you know, gather the information and used to, you know, take different important takeaways from the library. So it is basically the technology is a branch of the knowledge that deals with the creation and use of the technical means, the interrelationship with the life, society, and environment. And you know, you can draw such subjects like art, engineering, applied science, and also a pure science. So, I mean, these are the very important advantages, like technologies anywhere, anytime, from a blackboard to a whiteboard to the transparency slides. I used to remember that we used to write on the transparent sheets, and it used to be projected on the board. So we used to be very happy, like how the image is coming. And now see how the innovation has taken place in the technology also. So now from the earlier yesterday classrooms, now we have the e-classroom, we have the wireless technology. Everything is becoming micro, and micro. So all these things that they have a very important impact on the cognitive affective domain, as well as the psychomotor domain, that is upskilling the students. So it is all possible because of the technology. Another important tool, innovation, what we use here is like a video conferencing. Like if I offer one of the senior faculty members in US that you have to address the classroom students of my college. So I just will create a link, have to have a connect with that. And on a video conference, all the people are connected. So this is such a beautiful innovation which has taken place over the years. So now we have massive open online courses. We have the distance education. So the most important innovation which has actually transformed, and this digitalization of the education is very important. And the government of India has taken a very beautiful initiative of Swayam platform, wherein thousands and thousands of courses are there. They are the credit courses. The students can, besides their normal admission and learning in their own institutions, they can also go in for admission of the massive open online courses. This is the biggest innovation I have ever seen. And they can earn the credits, and it will be reflected there in their academic bank of credit ID. So the credits what you will earn, which is reflected in your ABC ID, you have to just give the information to your institution, and the institutions will give you new credits for that. And after you accumulate the credits under the ABC ID, the colleges will be giving you a particular degree. So it is not mandatory now to be present in the college always and do the traditional type of learning. So now we are in few months' time, say 2 to 3 months, we are also coming up with the National Digital University. And if you are able to accumulate the credits, say 10 credits from one, 20 credits from other, 50 credits from other, so it will be the accumulation of that number of credits which will make it possible for you to get a degree, and the National Digital University will issue a degree to you. So these massive open online courses, they are self-paced. You have to submit the weekly assignments. They also have an artificial intelligence. The person who will be addressing all your issues 24/7. There will be a facilitator in your institution also, and there's a hand holding by the institution where you have taken admission also. So time have changed, and we are into a very different mode. If I am not feeling well right now, so I will probably look at the video of my massive open online courses in which I'm enrolled sometime later. So this is what you have to see, the extensive use of the internet. As you can see, I have given a definition by Mr. John Chambers. There are two equalizers in life. One is the internet and the other is the education. Both complement each other. So extensive use of internet is possible, and it is making the education transform to a next level, right? So next is your important innovation. The teaching is your gamification. Like in the games, you win, you lose, you earn badges, you become the leader, you become the winner. On the similar pretext, we have some gamification which is introduced in our education also, like we have Kahoot software. So all these gamifications is going to give you that competitive spirit, that sportsman spirit, and it is really going to make the students more engaging because they are taking the education in a very play-way method, and it is aiming at the students to encourage them to collaborate, to share, and to interact. And then there is an active learning, increased proficiency also, which is also one of the new teaching pedagogies which has been introduced. That is, we are as teachers giving more emphasis on the analytical building, logical thinking, and giving them some problem-based learning, some case studies, wherein the entire ambit is in a collaborative learning environment. This is really going to recall all your concepts, recall all your methods, how we are going to solve together. So there is a we feeling in the active learning methods from I to we, and we is the new I when you talk about the NEP 2020. And this is what we are looking for and making the new education policy a big success. Then another method we'll be talking about is a multimodal learnings. That is, we make use of visual aids, we use infographics, we introduce the podcast, the YouTube channels. So the whole assignment, it is not only always the visuals which play a very important role. It is the other aspects also, like auditory, skills, which are also very important. Like you are normally going for a walk, just listen to a podcast. So listening to a podcast, because nowadays we have the earphones with noise cancellation. So your auditory skills will also move up. Looking onto the visuals like the diagrams, the graphs, a bird's eye view. All these methods are used now in the classroom, and they are definitely innovative. So, the history classes, you can actually give them a virtual tour of the monument, give them some important podcasts, give them some important TED Talks. So their learning will be definitely manifold. Another innovation, and which is a key feature of the NEP 2020, is the interdisciplinary learning. That is the well-rounded education. We call it as, it's a very important instrument which is fostering the well-rounded education. Like we talk about history and literature. So the students can examine the impact of significant historical events on the literary work of the time. So this is definitely going to build their analytical skills, resourceful solutions to the problem. And also it is going to, because interdisciplinary concepts were not there in the yesteryears. So if you talk about the interdisciplinary learning today, so they will have more of concepts, they will have more of learning, they will have more of original ideas. So it is going to cover so many new things together. So originating of the new ideas is a main thing. Then we have a collaborative learning, group projects, peer evaluation. I'll just give you some insight on the peer evaluation. I actually read a lot in terms of where are our practices slow, or we are tardy and slow in vis-a-vis the global counterparts. So what I have observed is that, we have less of collaborative learning, we have less of discussion forums, like in the lunch hours also, there is a seminar, online seminar going on. So the students can just log on, even if they are present in the college, they are given the option to join it online. So, this flexibility, infinite flexibility gives them an edge over the Indian universities. Although now, since all the organizations are working hard for the implementation of NEP 2020, and I must tell you that if NEP 2020 nuances are implemented to a substantial extent, we are going to be the Vishwa Guru, and we are going to be the world leaders. The time is not far. So the only thing we have to understand that what special focus has to be given in the class, the discussion, the emphasis, the team building, the psychomotor domains, the change in the attitude and behavior. That is the 360-degree development of the student, the languages, the business strategies, and sometimes, a lighter subject adds to your personality, like, knowledge of music, language, conversation, and the, in semblance of an amalgamation of all these things together, because now we will be only producing graduates. There will be no place for the specialization here as such. The next innovation, what we talk about, is flipped classrooms. That is, all the material is uploaded much before the classroom, and the students, they watch their videos at their own pace. They can rewind, they can download, they can retain, they can, I think, tackle all the challenges what they actually face in the face-to-face conversations. And still, there are academic advisors which are present in the college. There are teachers who are present in the college. So if you have a set of problems, and if your massive open online courses which are offered to you online, and you're not able to have the catch of the subject or of, say, the concepts, you can just go visit them, and there are open door policies for all the organizations that you can talk to them anytime. And in fact, this is also one of the big practice, that they want to talk more on the emails rather than the phone calls. So you just have to email, like, ma'am, I'm having an issue on this particular problem. So immediately, or in a stipulated period of time, you will get the answers. So, what emphasis has to be given in the class, because when you talk about a student who has to be 21st century ready challenges, so you have to give them so many skills, and we are the nation builders. So we have to also give them some skill, how to speak, how to discuss, how to be a patient listener, how to be having a good personality, how to motivate, how to achieve, how to strategize, how to be thinking of whys, always whys in the class, that why this happened, what were the reasons. So there are 5 whys approach, which also be talking about. And because there are so many things which I have to cover, but I'm just trying to introduce the concept to you so that you are well versed with the new teaching pedagogies, what we are talking about vis-a-vis NEP 2020. Now we have more emphasis on the skill-based teaching. So, we should tailor-make the lessons, practice and transfer the skills to the students in a formal education. And this is becoming increasingly very, very important. Then we have e-learning, always, the tools, we have to customize the tools. And nowadays, we have cloud computing, we have Python, we have all the digital learning framework, which are always there. So we should have interactive classrooms, and that is why the accreditation bodies, when we talk about the National Assessment and Accreditation Body, National Board of Accreditation, you have due weightage and marks for the interactive classrooms, for the smart interactive classrooms. So if you see this particular slide, what is being shown here, there is a smart board that the concept was given by a teacher. So the concept is partially shown on the board. So this digital board, you have to fill the gaps. So the partial, I would like to show you one example here, so you will understand that how these things, the visual guide to innovative assessment, I'll just show you here. This is, you can see here the catalog, like what kind of assignments and assessments these foreign universities. This is an example of a Waterloo in Canada, which is in Toronto. So they are making the written assignments, they have the online exams, they have matching assignments to the level of study, they have a group project, they have an online discussion, they have an offline discussion, they have a peer group instruction. So all these, you can see how diverse and how effective it is. So I request all of you to please study the different methods which are being taught as far as the other universities are concerned, to find out which method suits your university and how important it is for you to introduce the new ways of teaching and learning. And of course, if you introduce the innovation in teaching, there has to be a matching assessment in that regard also. So this interactive whiteboard had various facilities to draw, to show a video, to show an image, to show the map, to show the games, and you can manipulate in any of the ways you want. So this is definitely going to give a lot of exposure to the students. Then of course, this is a PowerPoint presentation which all of us use in the classroom. But now if you see, the modern office has many more features, the transitioning, the animation, which makes the presentations more impactful, etc. here. So this is what. Then we have an EduSet technique of teaching also, like we have EduSet live lectures. There is a UGC University Grant Commission channel in which you have all subjects live lectures, and after the live lecture is over, there is a YouTube link of that particular lecture, which is always available on their website and on their YouTube channel. So students, if you're finding it any kind of a difficulty, or the teachers, you want to give away some special notifications, some useful takeaways to your students, so please use this channel. This is Gurukul Live Lectures, and we have it on a CEC, that is the Consortium of Educational Communication under MHRD. It's a higher education channel. You name the subject and they have it. So it's a very important EduSet satellite, which is again a new way of teaching to the students. Also, you can just share the links. They have a pre-schedule which is on their website, that on this day this is the lecture, on this day they have lectures on the music, on psychology, on mathematics, on management, on education, etc. So this hands-on experience, etc., they are definitely very, very important these days. And of course, these educational tools nowadays we have on particular channels, we have YouTube videos, etc. So now let me give you another innovative teaching method, which is called as a problem solving. This problem solving, critical thinking, they are the pillars of the new education policy. So how will you endorse this and implement that you are able to give a particular skill of problem solving to the students is most important, because it involves a mental process of identifying the problem, understanding the problem, analyzing the problem, and develop some strategies to have the solutions of that problem. So what all we are going to do here is, we have to discover the problem, analyze the problem, and solve the problem. And this particular problem solving method is a process to choose the effective and the beneficial tools and the behavior among the different potentials to reach the target. So when you talk about the problem solving methods, which is the new way of solving a particular teaching also, it's about creating a thinker, critical thinker, then taking the decisions, then examining the decisions, and also improve your reflective thinking. This is most important, because all these particular names, pedagogies, nomenclature was not there, although a teacher has been doing all these kind of an exercise in the yesteryears also. But now we have particular jargons, we have particular names, we have very organized methods of teaching to the students. So we must give this particular skill to all our students so that they are able to think critically. Like, like for example, I ask you to, give me your opinion on a particular subject, right? So definitely the students will always have a pre-notion about it. Like the person who's not able to converse in English is little less progressive, less reflective, these kind of biases are always there. So the problem solving methods, when you talk about a critical thinking and reflective thinking and problem solving skills, you are actually giving a student a kind of an understanding that your thinking should be unique and it should be free from all biases. You should come out with your own perspective. You should come out with your own way of thinking. And I mean, you should not be moving on with the concepts which have been tagging along with the particular concept for the question which I'm asking you. So leave those biases behind, come out with a new perspective, think on your own, and then synthesize the information. So as a matter of fact, the student should identify, he should define the problem, evaluate the problem, act upon it, and see whether he's able to work it or not. If he's not able to do it, then he has to, move in a cyclical direction once again. So what particular problem solving skills you have to give it to the students in the new innovative teaching pedagogies? Like, for example, I have narrated these 9 points here. What is the problem? Why is the problem? When did the problem arise? When did it need to be solved? How did the problem happen? Where is the problem occurring? How does the problem affect you? When did the problem start, and for how long has this problem been going on? And is there any enough data available to contain that problem and prevent that problem, and getting it passed to the next process? If yes, then contain the problem. So these kind of problems solving skills were very helpful in the containing the COVID-19. So I mean, all these problems were conceptualized, evaluated, and then of course the containment zones were made, the vaccination came, the solution came. So this is all a very organized way of teaching and learning. So that should be implemented in the class. The student should be, discussing about the alternative solutions. Like, what is the ideal solutions? If it doesn't work, what are the other solutions available? If that doesn't also work, what is the roadmap of even for a lesser solution? So that brainstorming, group discussions, talking about the beneficial resources, and then talking about and giving weight to the different alternatives. Like, this alternative is 90% better, this alternative is 70% better. So we should always prefer the alternative 1 than the alternative 2. So, if this kind of the analytical discussion happens in the class, it becomes a culture of the student, and he starts thinking in that way. And also about the legality of the concept, about the legal action, about the ethical action, about the collective agreement on that, particular idea or a particular solution. How to make a choice out of all this. Then how to implement the decision. This is all should be discussed in the class so that we are able to implement the solution, having the agreement of all the team members, planning out the actions about using of the Gantt charts, timelines, etc. The start day and the end day, and evaluate the outcomes. Like, if we implement this particular decision, this is going to be the outcomes, and this is how we are going to have the issues. So now we'll be talking about the problem solving approaches, which is also a new innovative method of teaching in the classroom. Earlier, we used to have some traditional approaches like brainstorming, going on to the root cause of the problem, analogies approach, heuristic approach. What is the scientific approaches which is being followed now in the classroom? So I'm just having a short look on this. Brainstorming is all about discussion. Root cause is going on to the real cause of the problem. Analogies is like this problem occurred in 1920 also. So how government solved this and how we are going to. So it's basically just applying the common sense, right? And also about talking about the similar problem, how it was solved. The previous problem was solved and the same problem occurred. So heuristic analysis is basically a rule of thumb. The use of more of common sense. So this heuristic analysis must be given in the class. The analogies approach, like in 1932, this happened. Now in 2023, this is happening again. That time, what was the action plan? Now, what is the action plan, and what should be the action plan? Brainstorming is all about discussion. Root cause is all about going on to the deep into like what is the problem. But these methods which are now on the screen are the more scientific methods, like case studies, in which you are there to analyze the case. They have to develop the hypothesis. They have to see the potential solution. They have to test the hypothesis also. So this is about the case studies approach. Then we have the experimental approach, like it's a problem solving, moving on with some experiments. We have some statistical approach, like using of some statistical methods will help you in taking your decision making, data collection, data analysis, drawing the inferences out of it, and then of course moving on to some decision making. So these problem solving skills, they are very, very important. And there is another innovation in the teaching pedagogies which you have to actually talk about now is the PDSA, that is plan, do, study, and act. This is a scientific problem solving method. Ask students to take an example and put their example in these 4 categories, so they will be able to do that. And this is a 5-why approach. Why does this problem happen? Why does it take backup operations? Why don't operators know the job well? Why don't they have a special training? And why hasn't the organization recognized the need? So all these things have to be there. So this is some food for thought for all of you, that whether the technology in education will replace the teachers, and as a student learner, how far the technology has its impact on the education. So this was all about the innovation in teaching. Now I will be talking now on the innovative assessment part also, because our lecture series includes both the concepts, and quickly I will tell you, because of the paucity of the time, like the issues when you talk about the new innovation in assessment is also very, very important to understand. So when you talk about the assessment part, assessment, that is how you're going to evaluate the students, is very, very important. I told you that there are different ways in which the concept is being endorsed these days, and the students have a very different way of understanding of the concepts. So are you conscious about the quality of the schools and the colleges with whom you're dealing with? And are you looking at the ways and the means to update yourself as a teacher? So you should always talk about the learning outcomes. Like if I'm introducing a concept in the class, I should be knowing that after doing this particular concept, what my student is going to understand, what my student is going to gain out of this particular lecture. So if you are very happy about the outcomes, go ahead, upgrade, improve, process, and then of course the end result is that your student will be a seeker, your student will be attaining the best points. So it is very important to understand the assessment pedagogies for all the educational policymakers, assessment bodies, inspection agencies, quality auditors, and the management and the staff. So what is the practical implications of the contemporary evaluation and assessment? So this is, I told you, it has some social implications as a part of the social system. It helps in raising the levels of the student, raising the educational innovations in the classroom. So if you see this particular slide, what innovation and assessment is not? You can see on the upper slide, a small girl is loaded with the books, right? And the test on the left-hand side is killing a student, right? And if you talk about the innovative system now, the student is actually reliving the experiences of learning in the field itself. So he's playing with the cards, he's really having a very joyful experience on the basis of it. Like if I ask a student to, place the cards in a particular sequence of ascending or a descending order, for example, and if he's able to do it, I will assess him there and then. So now there is an activity-based assessment, and evaluation is definitely a very continuous process, which is helping the students to improve their level of achievement rather than certifying the quality of his performance. At the end of the day, we should be able to tag him that yes, he has understood the concept and he's able to practically implement the concept in the real-time assessment, right? And putting them into grades like he's 80%, he's 90%, it is not going to make any kind of a difference in their life. So why judge them? Like, so actually, when you talk about judging the students and labeling them like this is A grade student, this is a B grade student. To my experience, this is a bad practice. We should make them understand the concepts and try to put it into the practical orientation part of it. And if he's able to do that, that means the real assessment is done, because he's having a very practical exposure to that particular concept and he's able to actually implement the concept into the real life. This was the ordinary classroom I'll be talking about, and this is an innovation in the classroom we have already discussed. So on the similar pretext, there should be a lot of substantial benefit for the innovative assessment also. If a child is assessed in a new way, this is actually going to improve the teaching learning process. This is going to have it facilitates the deep rather than the surface learning. So the child will actually go deep into the subject with no fear that he will be tested. And in a playway method, like a small video is played in the classroom and the students are asked to, talk about it, or say questioning is there, or a small online quiz is shared there and then. So that's an innovative assessment. In a side by side, the students you will come to know, because it's a kind of constructive feedback a teacher is taking. So it will also help in realizing the strengths and the weaknesses of the students. It will actually help in stimulating the staff and also the student. It facilitates the slow learners also, right? So what are the different types of assessment? These are the 4 new ways of assessment I'm talking about here is. Like number 1 is your placement assessment. Then we have the formative assessment. Then we have the diagnostic assessment. And we have a summative assessment. So let us do these one by one. They are very important. What is a placement assessment? Placement assessments are used to place the student into a course. Like for example, I want to place a student in Bachelor's of Commerce. So I will have some prerequisite, the degrees or the readiness test, the aptitude test, a pre-test. So if the child is able to clear that, that means this is a kind of a placement assessment. So all these new kind of assessments should be now in place. Otherwise, we will be losing the nuances and achieving the objectives of the NP 2030. So it's a kind of a level of a proficiency or the priori knowledge which a student has. So next is your formative feedback. The actual performance of the student and the desired performance of the student. So there is a formative feedback. So we are trying to build, we are trying to actually become an integral part of the learning process. So it is directed towards promoting the learning. It is providing a feedback to both teacher and the learner that how the course is going, whatever you are having issues, please come out with your problems. There can be written feedback, there can be an oral feedback. It is actually learning focused. So we are trying to build the student and identify the gap and trying to fill that by a system of a feedback. So then we have a diagnostic assessment which helps in identifying the student's current knowledge by interviewing the student, by discussing with him, by close monitoring him, and then we have the other type of assessment, which is a summative assessment, which all of us do already. We take a midterm, we take a final term, we take an annual exam. So a student is judged on the basis of all this. So like, for example, we are making a soup, we put some salt, we put some, other enhancers, and then finally the soup is ready. So that's a formative assessment example. So we are just trying to build the interest of the students. We are just trying to take his assessment because we want to give him some scholarship. We are trying to have some research implications, like whether the student has that particular skill or not. So all these things is called as an outcome-based education, right? Like defining the outcomes, defining the curriculum, delivering the instructions, and testing the student from the Bloom's taxonomy point of view. So it's a learning centric where we are trying to actually build the student aspects in terms of his level of thinking, making him a creator, making him a thinker, rather than the rote learning issues of this particular kind. So one more thing I want to tell you here is that there are few more methods of assessment. Like normally we do a class test, we go in for a role play, we go in for the presentation skills, we ask them to make a documentary, we ask them to make say a report or a project or an immersive learning, like actually going to the market and seeing the challenges of those marketers, about how difficult it is to gather the vegetables, how do they wash them, how do they segregate them in terms of their different qualities, how do they price them, and eventually how the things are brought to the market for them to sell to the market. So probably we can, this is what is the immersive learning. Nowadays, this is very, very important. If you want to, make a report on the rural development of the particular schools or whatever, so we will take the students to a field trip for 2 days and they have to live in that particular environment. So that the learning which is there, which we call it as an immersive learning, living between the villagers, talking, eating the way they are doing, it is going to give them an hands-on experience, a collaborative learning, etc. So this is very, very important nowadays. So I'll tell you few more ways of assessment. I mean, it could be last 2-3 minutes more. I know the time is almost over, but nowadays we have a concept of speech journals also, and you can assess your students on the basis of your class engagement, how engaged they are in the class. You can give in every class a small quiz, a small discussion, which will have probably a very minor weightage, but this is going to, increase their participation, number one, in the class, their regularity in the class 2, their engagement in the class number 3, and also you're going to give them the assessment side by side. So you can make your assessment sheet the way you want, because you are crafting the new assessment pedagogies as a innovator, educator, as a facilitator, etc. So I was talking about the speech journal. So actually this experience I'm sharing, my son, he's studying in Canada, and I am very keen in whatever work he gets and how he is being assessed. So this is just a very small example of his assessment. So I really liked the concept, and I actually did it in my class also. You give a YouTube link of a TED talk in which a person who is narrating is actually addressing the audience, right? So he was asked to actually talk on few parameters, how engaging the speaker was. Was his voice convincing? Was he descriptive in his approach? Was he persuasive in his approach? So, while using his words when he's talking to the audience who are sitting in front of him, it's a TED talk, like we're talking to the audience, talking to them one-to-one. So, was there is a difference in the volume when he was just narrating the concept or when he was emphasizing the concept? So that modulation difference, the volume difference, how you're going to talk about it. So on what topic he was saying, what was the argument he was talking when he was emphasizing the concept. So this small exercise, about 20, this what they call as a speech journal. So these kind of 20 assessments were there, and I was so happy. After doing all these assessments, my son gained so much. In one TED talk, I helped him, but the subsequent, he was able to do it in a very nice way, and he was able to comprehend, contemplate the things very, very nicely. And this is how they do. Similarly, there was one more assessment. What he got was about the organic farming. Give at least the name of the 10 retailers who are and the producers who are into that organic farming. What is the scale of their operations? How do they advertise their product? What is their scale? Are they doing it on a medium scale, small scale, etc.? So there was a questionnaire of about 10 questions. So he had to actually put in his brainstorming and with the teacher also, with me also, and he was able to make such a fine report. And eventually, uh, uh, the the other kind of assessments also are they talking about, like if there is a weather forecast, what precautions a farmer should take if there is some kind of a natural calamity or disaster management going to happen, how they're going to tackle that. So this kind of a real time problem solving skills, critical thinking can be in place, and we actually going to create the thinkers, the critical thinkers, the problem solvers, which is the need of today. So that was all from my side. Thank you so much, and I'm open to some questions if you have any.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a wonderful session, and we have posted a feedback form in the chat box. Please do fill it. Now it's the time for the discussion. If the audience have any questions, please do ask directly, or you can post it on the chat box. Ma'am, actually, we have a question here. Can I?
Yeah, please. Yeah. You
Okay.
can just read out and I will answer.
Okay. This question is from Dr. M. Nagesh Kumari. And her doubt is whether Tech Talk assessment is possible at college level.
See, I was talking about a YouTube link in which the Tech Talk is happening. Well, you can have a TED Talk. We invited a TED Talk speaker in our college. So everything is possible nowadays. So there's no problem in having a TED Talk at your college. We had one in our college. So otherwise, I was talking about the kind of assessment, the innovation, what you can put in the assessment, that you can just post a link, a YouTube link, a storytelling or a TED Talk in which the how engaging he was when he was talking to the speakers. You can make and frame the questions on your own. So, right, the student moves his level of thinking, right? Rote learning, then, understanding of the concept, then analyzing it, evaluating it, and then creating it, and the Bloom's taxonomy to the highest level. Like if you are giving the concepts of, say, the coding, etc. So eventually, is your student able to make a payroll software for the college? If yes, that means it's a success. So more of hands-on and experiential learning should now be in the institutions. Like there should be, a very close-knit interaction of industry and academia, where the students should be allowed to work hands-on with the industry people, so that the skills what they want, they should be assessed on the basis of what they've learned in, say, 1 month or 2 months of internship, etc. So even if the college has to go in for some MOUs, but I think you should make the learning experience more joyful and more engaging experience and more learning experience for the students. So this is what I personally feel. Because I'm into an assessment team, I go for the assessment of different institutes in National Board of Accreditation and NAC, etc. So I was very, very impressed with two institutions. They have the actual simulation experiences for the case studies development with the Harvard. Their faculty develops the case, and they have a case study competition. They publish the case, they decode the case. The case study methodology is given due importance, and the concepts are not narrated in the way of merits and demerits of the concept, but in fact, through their immersive learning, simulation learning, and MOU with the Harvard, etc., and there's some other organizations also, that their experience is much more higher. And once a child sees how it is being done and how it is being paid, like you have the portal of the stock market, the different simulation of like if they invest and make a portfolio in, say, Nifty 50 or whatever investments they want to make, what is the total profit and loss? So they actually learn in the real life conditions what they are going to face, and this is how they build their portfolio. So this is how I feel that we should be more experiential, hands-on, and simulation-based, event-based, case study-based, role-playing, all these things, and the assessment should be, matching assessment should be there. So see the foreign assessments, how they do, and try to, just follow the footprints. I'm not saying that they are the best, but here the huge gaps are there, and we should always fill the gaps, and we should not be, leaving behind any stone unturned to make education a real joyful experience for our students. Everything should be student-centered.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Now let's wind up the session. And before that, I would like to request each and everyone to turn on your cameras. Let's have a snap for the future. Please, listeners, speakers, everyone, please turn on your cameras. Okay, I hope we got many snaps for the future to save it and for the memories. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Jasmine Matthew for the vote of thanks. Jasmine, ma'am, over to you.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. A warm good evening to all. It's my great pleasure to thank.
Jasmine, ma'am.
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Can you turn on your camera?
I hope it is on. Am I visible to you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Thank you.
It's my great pleasure to thank St. Chavara Center for Teaching Excellence and Educational Innovation, SCCTEEI, the St. Aloysius College initiative to train faculty of higher education institutions in India. This is the 7th edition of such programs. First of all, I would like to extend our warm gratitude to the speaker of the day, Professor Dr. Namita Rajput. Professor Dr. Namita Rajput, former principal, Sri Aurobindo College, University of Delhi, has presented an informative dissemination of knowledge about innovative pedagogies in teaching and assessment in higher education. It's a great pleasure to listen to such a great personality like you. Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable time spent for making this presentation a reality. I would like to thank Dr. Chacko-Jose P., the principal of St. Aloysius College, for consistently motivating and helping the faculty members in person and through such training programs. I would like to express our gratitude to Dr. Sindo Jacob, Coordinator, SCCTEEI, and Dr. Libison KB, IQAC Coordinator, for identifying great personalities and relevant topics for the faculty development programs regularly. I would like to thank all the participants from various higher educational institutions for attending the program and updating yourself to be a motivated teacher. Thank you all once again.
Thank you, Jasmine, ma'am. Now we are going to wind up the program. And before that, I request everyone to fill the feedback form. And yes, we are winding it up. Thank you. Thank you all. Hope it was a fruitful session for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Namita. You may now leave the session. Thank you.